tuned in to the tap in. We talking again. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Might talk a little shit, get a little brash. Might drink a little bit, smoke a little bit. Vibe a little bit, laugh a little bit. Yeah. Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday, you know the deal. We talking again. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. We're talking again. Come on.
What's up, everybody? This is Fidel Avendaño Jr. Talking Again podcast. We're here again on another show here on the Tap Studios. My guest for today is Jocelyn Aparacio.
Hello, everyone.
Do you get Jocelyn or Jocelyn?
So my name is Jocelyn Aparacio, but people say Jocelyn, and I always feel bad correcting people.
Yeah.
My name is Jocelyn Aparacio.
That's why I did it both. I did your last name. I did Aparicio and then Jocelyn.
Yeah, I appreciate
that. We were talking earlier about how I was so confused. I thought you had 3 or 4 names, but it ended up being your sister's.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so embarrassing. Just kidding. I don't get embarrassed too easily, but thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I wanted to get you on was obviously I was referred to you by a cousin of mine.
Yes.
And I say cousin very loosely because my wife goes, that's my cousin. So he's not my cousin like blood. He's my wife's cousin.
Oh, okay.
But I claim him.
That's family.
You know? I've known the kid since he was a little guy.
Oh, there you go. That's family.
So my cousin introduced me to you, or referred me to you, I should say. But he said you had this great company that you just started, and he said, let's take a look at it.
Thank you.
And it's something that I definitely always want to push small business and help out any way that I can. And when I saw your company, everything about it I just kind of liked. I liked your mission statement, the soaps, just the way that you identify, how you identify the soaps and what they do, for you as far as like skin condition and stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into all that right now. But if you can add how you just got started with it, the idea of it.
I think how it got started, basically, I, like many of us during COVID, how everything hit LA so hard, I was sent home, right? A lot of us had to work from home. Thankfully, I had the option to work from home.
Yeah.
But since I was still in and out of the house, my dad and I were the only ones doing the grocery shopping, the gas runs, any emergency runs to the pharmacies. It was mostly my dad and I to minimize exposure in our household.
Right.
The one thing we couldn't find anywhere was antibacterial soap.
Really?
We couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
So one thing my mom has always told us, like, no se aguaden or no se agüiten type of thing. So like one way or another, you have to figure it out. You got to keep going. So my sister was making candles.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, what the heck? Like, you have a de-stressor,
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, we can't find soap anywhere. I have to let me figure it out. So I started Googling different recipes. I started Pinteresting, and I was just like, okay, like Amazon delivers in one day. So let me start ordering random stuff. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
But when I first started, I was just like, I'm making soap for my family and I.
Yeah.
And then found out my brother was pregnant. And I was like, they're also minimizing exposure. And I was like, okay, if I have soap, I could share it with my brother and his wife. Obviously with my sister and her fiance and my parents.
Yeah.
So I made it, and then I posted on my social media. And then I was in a sorority in college.
Right.
And a lot of my closest homegirls, they're like, oh, send me some.
Yeah.
And they're like, how much? And I was like, oh, no, I'll just send it to you.
Yeah.
So I sent it to 4 different friends, and then my family loved it. They loved it. Like, you need to start selling it. And I was just like, no. I was like, no. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'll keep making it. I'll send it to you for free.
Right.
They're like, no, we'll pay you. And I was like, I don't want to take your money. Like, your family, your friends. Like, this is just weird. And then again, like, on the second week came, I can't find soap again anywhere. So I was like, okay, well, I know how to make soap. Let's order the supplies again. So I ordered the supplies again. I made a second batch, and then again, everyone wanted some, and I was like, okay, well, clearly this stuff is good.
Yeah.
I was like, if my friends, I feel like your friends are very much honest.
Right.
They'll tell you whether it's good or whether it's not. They all loved it, and I was like, okay, cool. My sister is like a health freak and like all naturals, everything. She loved it, and I was like, okay. And didn't give anyone rashes. Like, everyone was saying they want more, so clearly it's something they like. So let's do it. And then my sister actually started selling candles, like via DM on her Instagram. She was making candles. She's like, might as well just give them out. Same thing. People are like, no, I'll pay for them. So she's like, okay. She's like, I'm making like a little bit extra money. I'm at home.
Right.
She's like, you should do that with your soaps. And I was like, no. And I was like, okay, if I do it, I have to do like I have to do it like legit.
Yeah.
So like I started ordering the ingredients in bulk. And I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna make the soap, then I have to come up with the name. I was like thinking like suds. I was thinking all this stuff. And I was like, as I'm sitting at home, I'm like, okay, I miss going out.
Yeah.
I miss going to breweries. I miss going to like a bar and having like whiskey like on the rocks. Like I truly miss that. Like I miss having a casual drink with friends. So like bars of soap, meet me at the bar.
Yeah.
Play on words, right?
Yeah.
You
I
can't.
love the name. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Meet me at the
I
bar.
was like, you can't go to a bar, but I could bring the bar to you.
Yeah.
But then it'll be soap, right?
Of
And it's
course.
also something you need during COVID. So that's how it all started. I came up with the name. I told my brother and I told my sister. They both loved it. And I'm the youngest of 3. So once you tell your older sibling something and like they love it, I'm just like, okay, it's good, right? And I told one of my best guy friends, he's like, oh, like that's really like awesome. And I was like, cool. And then I told one of my best girlfriends, she's like, no, I like it. And she's like, you love bars, like you love like having your beer and your whiskey. And I was like, yeah, I do. And they're like, it's good. And then like, okay. So then I was like, okay, I got the name. I know how to make the soap. Now what scents do I want?
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I want to have like seasonal things. I was like, if I get big one day, I'll have seasonal things. Or like, and I was like, but I need like an original, like 4 original scents.
Okay.
So that's when I came up with those.
Is that the 4 that we have here?
The 4 that we have here. So these my 4 original scents are the ones that will be available always.
Okay.
Like these will never disappear. These 4 scents will always be on
the OGs.
The OGs
exactly. At the bar.
And then I'll have like the occasional like summer scents, the fall scents, the winter scents, and those will come and go. But these will always be there.
Yeah.
And like everyone that I gave these to, because also was another thing, I gave them out as samples first, and then if they love them, they're like, okay, cool. I was like taking like data.
So this wasn't the original thing that you did, like when you were
no.
making them for your friends and just giving them to them. It wasn't any of this.
No.
It was something totally different.
It was like this soap base, but it had no scent.
Okay.
It was literally just soap.
Yeah.
Like I need
Dove
some
bar or
exactly.
Something, yeah.
Like the Dove bar that just cleans you and like that has no scent, but it works.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And then the second time I made it with dry hibiscus flower, and I got Hawaiian hibiscus essential oil.
Yeah.
So I infused it with the essential oil and the dry flower, and then that's the one everyone loved, the second batch.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if I could infuse like incense oils and like raw ingredients, I have something for me.
Yeah.
So that's how.
Is that the same one, the same recipe that you use? The hibiscus?
So the same recipe. So the soap, you see how they're all white? That's the soap I use. So all my soaps are made out of goat milk.
Oh, okay.
So it's 100% goat milk with other ingredients that make the soap suds.
The
and
secret stuff that we can't really talk about.
Yeah. It's good for you though, I promise. So yeah, that's why it's white. I don't like adding like any soap coloring. You could do all that stuff. There's like different type of powders. I'm just like, I think about food coloring. Food coloring is not good for your inside, so why would soap coloring be good for your outside?
Yeah,
that's the way
you might get irritation
exactly.
or whatever.
You don't know how someone's body's gonna react to it. Versus, I had like 12 different people try the soap and no one had an allergic reaction to it, and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna stick to that.
Yeah.
And then I infuse it with the raw ingredients and then an essential oil, depending on what bar it is.
Yeah.
So
essentially, this started off as a necessity.
It started off as a necessity,
you know, and then from there, just
it kept going.
Snowballed. What was the first time that you made your soap? Because the business started in June. Was your grand opening, right?
Correct.
So when did you start making your first batch of soap? The ones that you were giving to your family?
That was the last week of April.
The last week of April.
So I went all in a month.
Yeah, like a month. Yeah, 2 months, right?
Yeah, like I did it in April. The first 2 weeks, like the last week of April, the first week of May, and then I was sending it out, and I was getting good feedback.
Oh, you said the end of April. Yeah, 1 month you went hard.
Yeah, 1 month.
Dang.
Yeah, I did it all, and I was just like, let's just go for it. And I really
website and everything. You did everything all that 1 month.
I got my business cards made. I went ahead and launched my Etsy page, was where you were able to buy the soap.
That's where you can get the soap, right? Etsy.
I launched the Instagram, though I did it as a teaser on Instagram. Like I announced it on my personal page, like, hey, I'm starting a new venture, new business. I go follow, but nothing was available to buy. So I was like kind of just weaning people in. I announced the name. Then I dropped the first bar, which is the Ocean Breeze with the Himalayan salt, which is like the pink one. I dropped that one. Then after that post, I'll drop like how it benefits you.
Okay.
Then I dropped the next bar and like the benefits. And I kept going like that. So like everyone knew all the soaps are available. And then I'm like, okay, they'll be available June 1st. Yeah. So it was more like a build-up type thing that I wanted to do, which worked awesomely.
No, I did see it from doing my research. I did see the build-up, and I was like, boom, her release in June. But it had all these posts and pictures before the June, you know, which I was like, very cool, very creative. Did you get a lot of their followers around that time too? Like, were you able to get people that were anticipating the soap and waiting for it?
Yes, I had, which was funny though, because Etsy works interestingly, right? So the way when I created my Etsy page, I was creating each soap by one, and then right when you click publish, it's actually available to everyone.
Okay.
So
everything's drafted until you hit that publish. Just like when I
exactly.
post on YouTube and I do.
And
As
you
soon as
click
I hit publish, it's open.
But the
available.
thing is, like, you can't save it on Etsy as a draft. So all my soaps were actually up already on Etsy. Secret, sorry everyone. Like May 28th.
Yeah.
But I didn't make the link available to the public till June 1st at 6 p.m. when I got off of like my regular 9 to 5 job. At 6 p.m. I was like, you guys can shop now.
Yeah.
But I got home and I was busy. Like I showered, like because of COVID, clearly I'm gonna change clothes in the shower.
Right.
And then I ate dinner, and then I had people. It was like 6:01. They're like, your soap's unavailable. Can I DM you? Can I send you money via Venmo or Zelle? And I'm just like, hold on. And I was like, it's available. It's available. I was like, I just haven't put the link on the bio.
Yeah.
And then I was very blessed. My first day, I got 52 orders in.
Wow.
Within like an hour and a half, and I was like, for me, it was very exciting. I know people would think like, oh, 52, that's nothing, right?
No, but I mean, just you're just getting started in like a small business. You're still a small business.
Yeah, very tiny.
Yeah.
It was my first day, and I was literally, I cried my first day.
Wow.
Like I was so overwhelmed. My sister and I were just watching the screen, and I was just like, I don't even have enough soap bars made yet.
Yeah.
Because I really only made like 10 of each. I was like, no one's gonna buy my stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like the people who are supporting me, my close friends, family will buy it. But like I truly did not think people were gonna support me.
Yeah.
And like I was getting flooded with the orders, and I was just like, God is good.
Yeah.
I was like, God is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you well, you said you didn't anticipate to sell so many, but from the time that you started that, did you have like a goal as to what you wanted to meet in your first month of sales?
Honestly, if I be completely honest, I just wanted to make back what I invested.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I took the money out of my savings.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, yeah, I'm making soap for myself, and family, close friends. Like I don't mind giving it out to free. If anyone who knows me knows I'm a big giver.
Yeah.
If I have it, I will give it, and I don't expect anything back in return.
Uh-huh.
So that's the way I saw it. Like we're all like, COVID is very much real. It's very much surrounding all of us.
Yeah.
You can buy soap or find soap, let me know. And I was giving it to people, you know, like my friends like, oh, give me some. I was like, okay, send me your address. And I would literally go the next day, or if the post office is still open, I would mail it to them. And then when my sister's like, no, we should sell them. Like, I'm selling my candles. You should go ahead and sell your soap. Like, you'll do it, Joss. Like, don't be sad.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like timid about it. And I was like, okay, like people love you. People will support you. And she's like, and even strangers, they'll see like goat milk soap. They'll see natural ingredients. They're like, I want to eat that up. Like, everyone wants to eat up natural
well,
stuff,
no,
right?
I mean, I feel like eating some of this. I wonder how it tastes. I won't. Maybe, I don't know. No, but it does. I mean, it smells so good, and it looks great. I mean, just the color on it. The oatmeal honey, I love that. That's one of the ones when I saw, I was like, I gotta try this one right here.
Yeah, so the picture I actually had posted on the oatmeal honey online. I grinded the oats, and when I used it myself, I found that I wasn't getting exfoliated.
Oh, okay.
So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do the raw cuts oats, like, and not blend them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that actually exfoliates your skin a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Than the blended one, because it's already soft.
Yeah.
Versus this one.
So I was gonna ask you about the research that you did on the soaps, but first, were you mentally prepared for this, for creating a business, or did it all happen within that 1 month and you're just like, well, I'm going in all in on this, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say I was prepared, because I literally wasn't. I did not know what I was getting myself into. It was a lot at once. I watched a podcast called it's a clothing store from out in Lancaster. It's called Above Millions. They started back in 2010, and the one thing the owner constantly says is that he wished he had Google when he started.
Yeah.
I mean, Google was around in 2010, right? But it didn't have everything you have.
Right.
You literally want to do something, you Google it. You want to answer something, you Google it. So I've watched that podcast so many times, and he's very much inspiring. He's also like a first gen kid doing something for himself. He's built a company which he loves. And I was just like, okay, if my sister's encouraging me to do something, my answers are in Google.
Yeah.
My answers are by asking others who have done this. So I went ahead and started Googling. I made my Etsy account. I made an account with the post office. I started ordering label stuff. I was like, I have to have business cards. I have to make a brand for myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I want to make the brand before introducing myself. That's why this was probably going to be one of the first times you guys see my face.
Yeah.
Why I haven't showed my face yet on my Instagram for the business, because I really want the product to speak for itself.
Right.
I want the product to sell itself. And then the creator will be introduced, which I'm not sure yet when. Of course, you'll see who I am now, but probably before, like a little bit before this airs, or after it airs, I'll introduce
kind of like a little intro.
Yeah, because it's not easy. I give everyone who owns like a boutique, everyone who has like a mom and pop like restaurant, coffee shop, whatever your source of income, maybe that's a small business.
Yeah.
All the props to you, and if that's your only source of income, even more. Like I will bow down to you. I will buy your products even more.
Yeah.
Because it is literally a grind.
I mean, that's all you hear is support small business. Small business supporting small business. That's all it is. That's all you hear. Especially right now with Instagram, I see it right now. The love that people have, and they just back each other up all the time because they know and they understand. Again, now I don't have a business, but because I haven't really looked at the podcast as a business, but I am trying to put it out there, and I get it too. Like I get a lot of support from business owners that I also support. So it's kind of like one of those things that go with each other. Like you do this and you help each other out, and that's just what it is. It's kind of like an old school way of doing things. No more haters, but I did want to ask you about the research that you do on your soaps. You're talking about like the safety, what it does for your skin.
Yes.
How did you research all that? Is it just through, again, Google?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Google is my best friend. When I first started researching it, I found some recipes on Google, and honestly, I found recipes on Pinterest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Pinterest will become your best friend. You can literally find recipes for anything in like 4 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was just like, okay, I've never made soap. I know how to cook somewhat. I'm not gonna say I'm like the best cook like my mom, but I know how to cook.
Right.
Like I know how to feed myself.
You know how to turn on the stove and warm things up. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was just like, okay, if I could make a meal, I can make soap.
Yeah.
So the main thing about all my soaps, like if you know me, I love tea. Chamomile tea is my go-to tea. Like if I have a stomach ache, if I have a headache, if I need to go to sleep, like chamomile tea, it is one of my favorite tea. And I've been drinking this since a kid. My mom and my grandpa would always make it for me when I was a kid, no matter what mood I was in. Sometimes they needed to make me a little happy. They're like, tomate de manzanilla.
Yeah.
Or like if I had an upset stomach or a headache, like tea in general is such a good like healing has so many healing properties for yourself. So I chose chamomile and sea salt. Sea salt is very much a good exfoliating property, and then chamomile, it calms your body inside and outside. It calms your skin. If you have like any rashes, it actually helps it heal quicker because of the healing properties that the tea has. So I was just like, if I like the tea internally, I'm sure I'm gonna like it externally.
Yeah.
And it's done wonders.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorites.
The great thing about chamomile or manzanilla is you can add almost anything to it, and it just kind of, I don't know if it accentuates the taste or the flavors.
It enhances it.
It enhances it. Yeah.
You could add cream, or you could add sugar. You could add honey. Like I want to say like it's like the perfect add-on to anything, but there's also people that don't like it, and that's okay.
Yeah. Right. But we're not messing with them today. Wow, I mean, that's really cool. I like everything about it. The reviews that I was reading, some of the reviews being a little chismoso, right? But you have all positive reviews, obviously, through Etsy. Everybody's just excited about your soap, and if it's only been around for 2 months, that's what I get. Like, I'm like, God, but those are the kind of customers that are going to continue to come back. And I think your product is something that's hard to sell. Only because I can go and get something at Walmart, a whole bunch of soaps for so cheap, and then why am I going to spend so much money? Which I don't think yours is too expensive either. But
people could see it as expensive.
They will see it, yeah. So do you find that a little difficult?
Yes and no. I find it difficult because, like you said, you could easily go to your CVS, you could easily go to your Walmart. But when you turn it to the bag and you see the ingredients, you don't know half of the stuff that's in there. Everything that I'm giving everyone is all natural. And you ask me the question, what's in it, I'll tell you. Yeah. My soap is made out of goat milk. It's raw chamomile flower. It's raw sea salt. It's raw Himalayan salt. It's raw oats. All the oils that I use are FDA approved by someone who tests them for candle making and soap making. So like, and I use my own products. Yeah. So like, I'm not gonna sell someone something I would never use. I hope someone wouldn't sell it to me, but clearly do because it is in the store, right? Yeah. And I get it. There's preservatives, there's certain chemicals that would make them last longer, make the scent last longer, and I completely get that. But I feel like that's why I put the price on the soaps. One, because it is a one-woman show. Yeah. And I don't ever want to rip someone off either. And if they want to see me do it, like I'll film a video and I show them exactly how I make the soaps. Like
Yeah.
I have nothing to hide.
I would encourage you actually to do that for your Instagram, because and then you do that time lapse thing, and
Yeah.
but right now it just seems like everybody wants to see behind the curtain. Like they've been wanting that forever. So yeah, I'll definitely encourage you to do that.
Thank you. I actually
cool.
did a post like that. I think it was like 2 days ago, where I showed how I laid like the sea salt and the dried chamomile flower, and like as I'm pouring in like the goat milk soap into the base, and then how I let it cool a little bit, and then I top it with the flowers, and then I'm showing how I rock cut it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not buying the stuff off of Amazon or another company, unpackaging it and then reselling it to you.
And I think it's really important to say also that or to reiterate the fact that you're a one man or person show.
Yeah.
That this is it. Like obviously you have support from your family and your friends, but like you do this 100% yourself.
I'm not gonna say that my parents haven't tried helping me. I'm just like, you're not cutting it right. Or I'm just like, you're putting too much of this stuff. I was like, just stop. And my mom's like, I'm just trying to help you. And I was like, I appreciate it, but like, no.
Yeah.
So
how have you been able to manage this with your current job? I didn't even bother asking you what you do for a living, but
I am a health educator on an HIV grant through the government. So basically, the government gave my company an HIV grant, and then I work for a nonprofit, and I'm one of the health educators on the project. I work every day from 8 a.m. to 4:30. I get home, I rest. Depending how much homework I have, I look at that, and then I dedicate my rest of the night to my soaps.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I read this post that says my 8 to 5 job is what keeps me going, but my 9 to my 6 to midnight job is what's building generational wealth. So I may not get rest right now, but I'm building something.
No, yeah. I mean, this is something that could lead up to even greater things, or just expands your company.
Yeah.
But going back a little bit back to the way you operate your work, perfect time right now. I mean, the timing would be, I guess, if you want to take advantage and be an opportunist.
Yeah.
Is this pandemic, and you can't really go out anywhere, especially now that they just reclosed the bars. Obviously you can still do the outside dining. Honestly, or whatever. But
I'm a little bit against that, but to each their own.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so you're at home, you don't have the excuse to not stay home and go out with the friends, because again, it's pandemic season.
Yeah.
if we're gonna call it a season, that you have time to spend with your business, and and it's an important time right now that only 2 months in that you put everything into it.
I agree. I'm very much a workaholic. I've never felt that it is enough to have one income.
Yeah.
During this pandemic, I've had between 4 to 5 jobs.
Oh wow!
Which and just any way you could have income, and I am truly thankful for one, being encouraged and supported by friends and family, and having Meet Me at the Bar, because it's helped. I'm not gonna say it hasn't. I still work a 40-hour job, like Monday to Friday. Clearly that pays the bills, that pays the rent, that also goes into my savings, but it's just like, okay, is that currently enough? Am I doing enough? I'm still so young. I'm only 24 years old. I feel like I need to be doing more with my time, and I'm doing something I love. I'm not working for anyone else. Everything that I invest and what I make back is for me, or the people who come after me. But it's something that I'm really truly passionate about, and being someone who studied health science in my undergrad, I know the importance of hygiene. I know the importance of your own personal health, and soap is where you start.
Yeah.
It's very simple. And I mean, that's what led me to it. I couldn't find soap at the store, so I had to make it.
Right. Yeah. Again, the necessity part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just mentioned your age, 24. I feel like your generation has seen how successful you can be, during these times with social media.
Yes.
That's pretty much your job, or your business has been able to operate through social media. Your Instagram, you built up your clientele, so to speak, through there. That's that's how you're promoting it right now. You don't have a website of your own.
No.
So it's all through Etsy, and you're able to promote it through your Instagram. Now, do you have a Twitter for
Yes, I did make a Twitter for it maybe like a week and a half ago. I haven't had Twitter since 2013, so it's all very much new to me. Again, I feel like I'm a guinea pig, relearning it, looking at who I'm following, what should I do, how to repost, is it too much to post? But people tweet like between like 1 to like 30 times in one day, or like they'll be sending tweets like minute after minute. But I'm just like, I do really much admire Lush. and how they promote their soaps, all their social justice they do. So I really do look at that, and I study other soap brands to see like, okay, how do you promote your soap?
Mm-hmm.
Who are already built, who already have a platform, who already
Right.
have a constant clientele, and then from there. But Twitter is a lot harder than Instagram.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I don't use Twitter, but just social media in general is like a whole nother job. Like that'll be a
Yes.
whole nother position that you're doing in your
Yes.
business. Like there's
Yes.
people that pay thousands of dollars for social media companies to
Yes, to have
promote.
someone just do it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. My two coworkers, well, my program coordinator and my partner, who is also the other health educator on our program, any 10-minute break we get, any 15-minute break, I'm like designing something for Meet Me at the Bar,
Yeah.
or I'm posting something on the story. Like today, I didn't eat lunch at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to go deliver packages at the post office.
Wow.
And I ran out of label printers
Yeah.
and ink.
Oh.
And I was just like, well.
Yeah.
So then luckily I worked 10 minutes from a post office. So I was just like, I'm gonna punch up for my lunch. And I was like, hey, if I'm not back by 12:30, could you punch me back? And she's like, yeah, I got you. I made it.
We don't say that out loud because then they're gonna hear. No, I'm kidding.
And she's like, I got you. And I was like, okay, cool. Luckily I did make it back on time. But
There
I was
you go.
just like, I didn't
She made
eat
it back
today.
on time. Okay.
I didn't eat today for lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I was snacking. Like when I came back and I clocked back in, I was on the clock. I was snacking throughout.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you have to do what you have to
You
do,
have
right?
to, yeah.
Like again, like it's just me. Like sometimes I wish, like, oh, like maybe I should bring someone on, but I'm just like, no, because I
Yeah.
want to prove myself that I could do this. Like,
Yeah.
of course, there's gonna be obstacles along the way. I'm gonna come
Right.
across different barriers, and today was one of them.
No, yeah, and that's a perfect example of the things that you're gonna come across. That's probably gonna be the smallest of your problems. You know,
Right?
like you're gonna probably find yourself working before you go to work, in the middle of work, after work, like
yeah.
until you go to bed. Like
Yeah.
that's. But I mean, I don't think until it becomes a problem and an issue in your personal life, that's probably when you probably hire an assistant or someone to
yeah,
help
but
out. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. I mean, you're good right now. You're getting what is it? You're cutting your teeth, you
Yeah,
know, so to
exactly.
speak, right? Let's see. I was gonna ask you here. Let's see. Hold on. Well, first of all, the Fight Club thing, I wrote it on my notes here. I normally memorize these. I don't know why today I'm having a hard time with it. But my introduction to people that make their own soaps was Fight Club. You remember the movie Fight Club?
Yes.
And they were making Brad Pitt. You know, and his character was making the soap, and I remember them getting like fat or lard or something like that from a cow. I don't know, pigs or whatever. And that's what I thought. That's how you make soap. And then when I started researching yours and others too, it was like there is no fat, there is no lard.
No.
So again, that goes back to the nasty stuff that we're putting on our skin,
Body, yeah.
right, and our body that we don't really think about. We don't know about.
I'm telling you, next time you go to the store, if you don't want to buy my soap and you go to your Walmart, go to your Target, your soap, turn the label. And
Yeah.
if you see a word there, they're like, yeah, I can read it, but what is that? And I have to Google it.
Yeah.
Why are you putting that on your body?
Right.
That's the same way I think about food, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes when you buy processed food, you turn it around and it's like, what the heck
What's
is
all
sodium
this
X,
stuff
Y,
right
and
here?
Z?
Yeah.
But it tastes good.
Yeah.
But like, do I really want that in my body if I don't know what it is?
Mhm.
I think it's the same thing, like when you're like washing your body or like putting lotions on,
Yeah.
or, like face creams or face wash. Like,
Well, I
we don't
think
know what's
a lot
in
of
it.
us neglect. And I say a lot of us, it's like people like me because I really don't care about my skincare. But yeah, we don't really care about our skin. My wife, you know, she's always taking care of her skin. You saw her, right? You would never know that she's almost 40. And
No,
and
not
yeah,
at all.
so because she cares a lot about her skin,
Mhm.
you know, and she does all that stuff. Me, I'm like, nah, soap, you know, soap and
It's scrubbing. I see the
lotion,
suds. Like I'm
yeah.
getting clean. Like
Yeah, that's it. That's, you know, but I am getting older, and I do see like my skin starting to like not fall apart on me, but
see it changing.
I
It's
it is
natural,
changing,
yeah.
you know, as I get older. So I'm like, well, maybe I do. She tells me all the time, you do need to start, you know, thinking more about your skincare. And I make fun of my cousin all the time. My cousin Omar, shout out if you're listening, because he was always concerned about putting certain lotion on his face, and I make fun of him, but hey, he was doing it. He's doing it right, you know, and he's been doing it right now. And I was giving him shit about it, but I probably should start doing that for
If
myself.
you think about it, like when you go into your grandparents' room, you smell like all these herbs and like different like, sorry, pomadas. I don't know if y'all know what that is.
Yeah.
Different lotions, like remedies for your
Yeah.
skin. But you know why now? Like they have to, as you get older, you have to take care of yourself.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean, the same thing. Like, why wait till you're older if you could just start now?
exactly. Yeah. Why wait till it gets messed up and gets
Yeah.
fucked up? Yeah, I get it. What about your shipping and your packaging? You do everything yourself. like again, one man show.
One man show.
How do you package the stuff and then ship it out to them?
I do. I don't use FedEx. I don't use UPS. I do use the postal services. If you guys don't know, they're actually in a lot of need of money right now. So the more you can support them and mail things out through them, the more money their employees get, which I think it's hard.
And it's still the most cost-effective thing, I think. The United States Postal Service.
So
Yeah,
because when you mail things, I mean, no offense to FedEx or UPS, but when you mail things to them, it's a little bit more expensive. Personally, on my one person budget, the U.S. Postal Office does make more sense. But recently, I just changed my packaging depending on what it is. My 4 classic soap bars, they get packaged in small bubble wrap pouches, and they get it in there. And then all of my packaging slips, not packaging slips, sorry, like the actual package. Yeah, they're also bubble wrapped inside. Okay. Because it's soap, and basically I have to melt down the soap to make the consistency right, and then I pour it in and it hardens. Yeah. My biggest thing is insulation, because I don't, since it is summer right now, I don't ever want someone to get a melted soap bar. Not saying that you will, but it's a thought in my head. Right. Because, I mean, granted, it has to be at 210 degrees to like this melt.
But you never know. Sometimes the glass hits it a certain way.
I mean, exactly. And, so, I mean, not that it'll happen, but that's my biggest thing. So but they're basically double bubble wrapped. The bubble wrapped individually, and then the package they go in is also insulated and bubble wrapped. Okay, that's how I package those. And then we haven't talked about it yet, but my Saguaro Summer line, those are just like string pouches. So that bar is still goat milk soap, but the consistency is a little less, so the scent is in it more. So that one's just in a regular pouch bag, but again, it gets mailed in a bubble wrap bag, so they're also still safe. Yeah.
My main concern was the any of them breaking. That was what I was going to ask you.
I haven't gotten. Have you had any? No. Okay, that's broken.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Again, I am a one woman show. I actually got a message yesterday on Etsy, and I forgot to include the soap bar.
So they got an empty package?
No, they got I made little samples for the summer. So they got the samples and the exfoliating bag, but
they didn't get what they paid for.
They didn't get what they paid for, basically. And I felt so bad. Okay. Thankfully, it was a customer that was very much understanding, so I mailed them their bar and 2 extra ones because cool. And I did an overnight shipping for them. Yeah. But they haven't gotten any broken bars, but they got missing bars. Yeah, so
Yeah. But that's cool that you were able to fix the problem, right? Because that's what you have to do 100%. You got to fix your problem. Yeah. Own up to your mistake. It's a mistake. It happens. Yes. Fix it, and then hopefully it doesn't happen again, because then you can lose out on money, right? Yes. But you'll learn from that experience, just things that happen, whatever, you got distracted.
I worked retail, so that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So thankful for working retail. You learn a lot. You learn a lot of personal things, and customer's always right. Yeah. I'm just going to be very honest. The customer's always right. She was right. I didn't mail her her soap, so I took complete fault. I apologize. I don't know how many times. She was very understanding. She's like, "This is my first time ordering off of Etsy." Yeah. She's like, "Your soaps looked awesome, so I wanted to order and support you." And I was like, "Actually, even worse." Yeah. But then I sent her bar and additional bars.
No, and you got really lucky, because there's some people, especially right now, that just feel entitled, and they're just get upset at the drop of a hat and willing to fight you and sue you for something like that. I mean. It's a little insane. Hopefully you don't ever have to go through something like that.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Speaking of wood, that plate, like my little transition there.
Yes.
Your plate there that you have there, it's a cedar tray that you're talking about. Talking about that you get specifically from a person in Maine.
Correct. So again, my sister is my roommate, and she helps me do a lot of soap research. So she's like, you have your 4 soap bars. You have an exfoliating pouch. She's like, where do people put the soap? And I was like, well, in the soap pouch, just stick it in there and get it. She's like, well, what if people don't want to use your exfoliating pouch? Yeah. Like, they have their own. And I was just like, I don't know. And I was just like, you got me. Like, I really don't know. And she's
those are great questions, by the way, for her to ask you.
And I was just like, I don't know. I mean, granted, we bounce off each other to help each other grow. And I was like, Nance, I really don't know. She's like, well, think of soap trays. Like, what else would you put? I was like, oh, you're smart. And I was like, so then I started researching different plastics, consistencies. Do I want them see-through? Do I want them cement? Like, do I want something eco-friendly? So I was just like, wood. So she helped me very much research. And then we found this carpenter. They're also a small business. I feel so bad. I don't know the name off the top of my head. But they are from Maine. I'll go ahead and give him the name of them.
We could tag it. We could tag it down below.
We'll tag them. But he crafts them. He makes things literally he'll make like kitchen spoons, like a bunch of different things. And I was just like, well, I'm looking for soap trays. This, I think it was the most beautiful customer service I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I literally messaged him 10 minutes later. I got pictures of like a bunch of different soap trays. Like, what style do you want? We have X, Y, and Z. Do you want circular? Do you want rectangular, square?
Yeah.
So it was very much a one-on-one experience designing these with a carpenter. Of course, they sent me the different styles, and I was like, okay, I want at least 2. I brought you the circular one, but if you go on our Etsy, I also have a rectangular one, depending on what you want for your aesthetics. That's very important nowadays for your aesthetics, like your restroom or your kitchen. So I have this round one, and it's made from cedar wood, 100% cedar wood, and this man, him and his family do make them.
Yeah.
So they're also handmade. So everything I have in my Etsy store, which whether it's my soaps, whether it's this wooden soap tray or the exfoliating bag, it's all handmade.
Yeah. Is that a custom design, or is that something that you just chose through like low catalog, or did you design it? That's how you wanted it?
Yeah, I just asked for a circular, and then he asked me if I wanted it smooth or do I want it with ridges. I was like, well, let's give the soap tray a little character.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I don't know anything about wood. I'm gonna be completely honest. And I was very open with him, and he's like, okay. And then he designed this one. He's like, do you like this? I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then he gave it, and then he sent them over.
I really like it. You know, you can tell it's not gonna, you know, the water's not gonna sit on the bottom or the base of it. It's gonna go right through the little slits. I mean, I like the whole design of it.
The one thing that's awesome about cedar wood is like it doesn't of course we all know that everything does gets mildew or rots over time. Cedar wood actually doesn't, because in the mountains of Maine, it's like the main source of for the trees there.
Yeah.
So cedar wood doesn't get mildewy,
and it won't expand. It won't.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and he's like, if you want to order the wood conditioner, you can. He's like, it's an extra fee, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was like, thank you for being so open that I don't need it, right? Like, you're not.
He could have upsold you right there.
Exactly, and he's like it's perfectly fine the way it is. And I personally use it because I use my.
So it's been tested by you, yours truly,
and it's good. And I've had it now for 3 weeks, and there's no mildew on any of my trays.
Nice.
So I'm just like.
And the exfoliating bags, those are handmade.
Those are also handmade.
That's crazy. When you told me, I was like, I thought you were buying like a bulk of them or something, but.
I'm telling you, I can't resell anyone's product.
Yeah, it's handmade. Yeah. Everything that you have is handmade.
Handmade, everything.
I mean, obviously, except for the
Vista prints. I mean, they print them at their faculty, so I'm sure someone's doing the printing, so it might be handmade also.
There you go.
A paper comes from trees, someone has to cut it down.
It's all natural stuff.
Exactly.
But that's another thing. It's everything here is. It's safe to say that we can say what the ingredients of your bar soap in one hand, right?
Very
2,
true.
3 ingredients.
Yes. For the hibiscus one, I'm gonna be honest. That's body glitter. It's all natural body glitter. People use it for raves and stuff. You put on yourself on your body. Literally washes.
Did you
off.
say for raves?
Yeah. You know how people put like body glitter on their face or their body because they want to shine with the lights.
Yeah, but I didn't know that there was something like I thought it was like glitter that they would buy from like 99-cent store or something like that.
Yeah, there's like
so there's certain types of glitter.
Yeah, there's also like glitter for your makeup and stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to put weird plastic stuff on your face.
So then also got glitter that's biodegradable, so it'll go down your drain. It won't clog your drains.
Yeah.
It disintegrates.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
Nice.
I don't want to give you a plumbing issue.
Yeah. How long does your soap last? Is there an expiration date? Do they go bad?
No, they don't go bad. But once you start using them in the shower, at least mine lasts about 2 weeks, and then I go and move on to the next.
Yeah, I'm sure that goes off of usage. Like maybe you have people sharing soap, so we don't know, right? What you do in your house, that's what you do in your house.
Yeah.
But as far as it has no expiration date or anything like that, right? You're not gonna get
buy
moldy.
It in bulk, so you don't know when the next COVID's gonna hit.
Yeah.
You have your soap ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. And if ever you get into trouble, you can just melt it down, use that goat milk for something, make some goat cheese. Not just kidding. No. Definitely don't do that. But so it's crazy that none of this, you didn't go to school for any of this. This is all again, you made this out of necessity.
Yes.
So you haven't applied anything, not even like a business degree that you did towards your business.
I went to Google University.
Google University or YouTube, right? How to's, right?
Yeah, how to.
I love it. I still use it. I use it all the time. But yeah, none of it. Everything that you studied, you're none of it. You know, mental health was one of. You said that you're a health educator.
Correct. I'm a health
educator. I when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I want to ask her some questions. Maybe she could school me because I have a lot of questions, and specifically are with the homeless problem that we've been having, right? It's been around forever, but I think now we see it a lot more than ever. And I was kind of talking to Ricardo when he was here about it, and I had said that we really don't see any mental institutions too many, or not too many. Like if you think back 50s and 60s, you watch all these old movies, that's all it was. I
Yeah.
mean, there was movies based around just the mental institutions, and they don't have anymore. He said it was something about they were operating incorrectly, the abuse that was going on, obviously, all that stuff, right? One of the things that I saw in my research was how people with mental illness, there's a lot more. The percentage of people in jail have mental illness. Like it went high about, I think like 20%, maybe some of that. That's a large number.
Yeah,
you know.
agree.
What I guess what's your experience with that with the homelessness and mental illness? Where's the connection?
I currently work with the homeless population. I think when there's a lot of misconceptions that homeless people are crazy. They're homeless
or they want to be like that's their choice.
They don't want to work or yada yada yada. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Realistically, I personally don't think or know anyone that has chosen to be homeless on purpose, right? I don't think anyone wakes up one day like, today I'm gonna be homeless.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be with my friends or my family. I think there are a lot of underlying issues. I do think there's also an increase. Granted, I'm not a professional on this. I think I just have a little bit more insight because of where I work.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say this is just your opinion now, right?
Very much my opinion. I also think there's also an increase in mental illness within the homeless population because it's actually a conversation now. I don't think there's as much stigma attached to. I think there is stigma. I'm not saying there is not stigma. I don't think the conversation of mental illness is such as a stigma as it was before.
Yeah.
I think it's very much accepted now. It's very much being understood. There's a lot of people going to college studying psychology. There's a lot of people just going on the internet and researching it. Like,
right.
What is this? What could it be? There's a lot more people seeking help. But I also think there's an increase in homelessness because a lot of the people are above the age of 18, right? So if they don't want to get treatment, they don't have to.
Right.
They're a consenting adult. Like, they don't have to get any treatment. They don't have to accept any help. They don't have to go to a shelter where they can shower and get food and listen to the rules because that's not what they want to do.
Right.
So we do see an increase in a lot of our neighborhoods of it because I'm over the age of 18. I'm 30 or I'm 20. Like, you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to live. Like, this is how I want to live. Leave me alone, type of thing. So that's what I believe. I feel like we also see an increase in youth who is homeless because of the accessibility to everything now. You can literally have an app and get marijuana dropped off to you. If you grew up in certain neighborhoods, you don't get ID'd to buy alcohol. Yeah. And if you do get ID'd, you'll call someone to get it for you. Yeah. My biggest thing that I always seen growing up, that I've seen as a young adult now, is like, one way or another, if someone wants it, they'll get it.
Of course.
If they don't want to listen to rules, one way or another, they'll get it. A lot of the reasons why there's also an increase in institutionalization, right? Like, such as jails, such as like juvies, such as like in-home, because if you're not going to listen to what's there and you're underage, we could lock you up if we need to, type of thing. So, and then I feel like there's also an increase in mental health issues when it comes to incarceration because you're isolated. Anyone who's in a room by themselves for more than 48 hours, I'm sorry to break it to you, you're going to go crazy. Yeah. It's the truth of the matter. And then there's not although the state and the country says that there's support, there's psychologists in jail, there's not enough. Yeah. For the one psychologist, the one clinical psychologist or therapist is in jail versus like the 30,000 that are locked up. Right. Like, how is it that everyone's getting help?
Or the right help, like,
or the right help.
Sometimes, you just, medicate. It's easier to medicate and just control it than to fix the problem.
And then I personally believe in medication and therapy. I don't think you should only do therapy or only do medication. I also think you should do both with the help of your doctor. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of factors going into it. I don't ever think it's an easy conversation. No. And I've never experienced it for myself. I can only speak on what I've seen and what I've experienced. Knowing folks who have mental illnesses and being there for them, it is difficult. Yeah. It's never easy. And that's just me seeing them go through it. I can't imagine what it is, it being in my own body. Right. Like, that's who I am. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, speaking like personally, because I feel that I'm so disconnected to that because again, I don't. It's nowhere near my home, right? I
Right.
have a home. I'm not homeless. I don't feel I have mental illness. Um, I don't have family or friends, that have mental illness
Mm-hmm.
that I know of, or that are homeless. So I think that's where there's a lot of disconnect, where there's still a lot of people that don't want to do the research, and it just, if I'm gonna play devil's advocate, it's you are making the choice to stay at home or to stay on the streets, because you're 18, you're of age, and you don't want to. This is how you want to live, and I feel there's a lot of people that are doing that. Um, uh that was gonna be one of my questions is, does mental illness, is that something that you're born with, or can you develop that? Where I think if you get that attitude of I'm gonna do whatever I want, if I want to get myself a tent and camp out on the streets, I'm gonna do that. I think you're more liable to develop a mental illness out on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
being out there like that, nowhere to eat, not having food,
Mm-hmm.
the drugs, the abuse that goes on in the streets. So, do you feel, that was my question to you, is do you feel that mental illness can be developed in time,
I think
within
it's
time?
both. I think you could be born with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you could develop it. I think life is not easy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how old you are. People that are really young have seen family members get shot. That's a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
If you don't take that child to therapy, they're not going to understand the process of it or what that means. That's something that becomes normal to them. But
Mm-hmm.
then as an adult, that person ends up shooting someone, and now as an adult they're at fault. But
Yeah.
that started as a
They
kid,
saw
right?
it as normalcy, right?
Exactly. So that's just one example. Granted, that doesn't happen to everyone. I do agree that it could develop, but I do believe, I do know that you could be born with it
Yeah.
because there's signs, and I think parents want to choose to believe that their child is not experiencing those things, how it not showing those signs.
Yeah.
But there's signs there. Of course, we have everyone that argues medicine and psychology, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but my opinion and my knowledge from what I've studied, I do greatly believe that people are born with mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, being out in the streets, not having food, maybe dealing with using the things that are mixed.
Right. Dirty needles and
Yeah,
dirty. Yeah.
it really does. It really does change the wiring in your brain.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always negatively, because I'm not gonna say like, oh, if you use it, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's your choice. Your own individual. It is your body. You do what you like.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it could be developed.
Yeah.
But I very much stand by the point that you could be born with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part.
But I mean, a lot of that would have to do with the neglect, from parents that again don't want to accept the fact. They want to hide it. They want to make an excuse. So that's just how he is, and then eventually they never took the initiative to try to correct it.
Yeah, it's
or
also
help.
like keeping the dignity of the family.
Yeah.
It could be cultural things. Even when it is accepted, it's not easy to have the conversation. So like there's so many factors that go into it before we actually pay attention to the individual who is who that's who they are, and that's what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
So
no, and it definitely helps that we talk about it more. We have open conversations like kind of like this, of it. Again, I don't have anything personal to add to it, but I think that we do probably need to start talking a little bit more about it, maybe not creating it so much of a stigma as to somewhat of a normalcy, but also know that something that needs to be attended to.
Open conversations, right, removes the stigma, because the more you talk about it, the more you're comfortable asking questions, the more you want to learn, the more you don't feel like, oh, am I being rude? No, it's just like, I'm just a bit curious, because like you said, like you don't know anyone in your family or friends that is homeless or has a mental illness, right? So you want to ask and you want to know more, and that's how you eliminate the stigma. So I agree. I think it's very important to have these conversations, but as I've learned, a lot of folks don't want to have it.
Yeah.
And you said also, it's also a respect thing. So
it's like you said, it's a cultural thing too. But I do have to correct myself, because I do, from remembering the research I did, 1 of 4 people could have a mental illness. They say in most typical rooms, right, 1 of 4 people will have a mental illness. I forgot that a mental illness, autism is a form of
Yes,
mental
I
illness
agree.
that I think autism is something that we've realized it's an issue. It needs to be handled. There's a lot of programs now
Mm-hmm.
that are helping children, adults
Mm-hmm.
with autism. So it's just that one though of forms of mental illness that has gotten the spotlight. But there's just so many others, schizophrenia, that
Yeah.
we don't want to even mess with and touch.
Yeah.
So again, now going back to that, I do have family members that have autism.
Okay.
And I see that there's more care. My shout out to my cousin Yesenia. She helps out so much. I mean, um she pretty much she has no personal life. It's all about her daughter. And
That's awesome.
and I know that that's her the opposite of what I had just mentioned of the neglect.
She's fully hands on.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Of course, she gets a lot of assistance from her mom, my aunt, but those are the kind of things that I see that she's trying to make a difference, right? Whereas some people, autism, they grow up like that, put a band-aid over it. 18, you're out on the street, and now you have this autistic person that's very unsafe on the streets, and
And they
then
do certain things,
and
and
now
then
and
it's
now
just
that adds
like
up to
lock
being
them up,
homeless.
tie them up, send
Yeah,
them to an institute. But I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, it starts from a very young age.
yeah,
And not everyone is fortunate enough to have someone be their advocate, right?
yeah,
From a very young age. So it's just a lot. It's not a one layered conversation. I think it has multiple layers. Of course, I'm no expert.
hmm
I know a little bit on the subject because of what I've been exposed to, what I've worked with. But autism within itself and within the autism spectrum, it is its own ballgame.
yeah. Oh, right, yeah, yeah,
But then again, that's with everything in mental illness, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's OCD, schizo,
hmm
bipolarism, like it's all its own ballgame. But
yeah,
everyone puts the label of mental illness.
yeah.
So they think it's all one
Well,
thing.
you talk mental illness, you think taboo. That's why
Yes,
I think I
yes.
really believe autism kind of went away from it, and it's still categorized as a
becoming
mental
lot
illness, but it is
the
more on its
conversation
own.
of autism and therapies. It's very much becoming a lot more normalized, which I think is absolutely amazing. I personally think it's beautiful. I've worked with kids with autism in a school setting, and I will tell you firsthand that these kids have the biggest hearts.
Yeah,
They have the biggest hearts. They are so smart. Like, I don't think I've ever met someone smarter than my first graders when I had them, or my second graders.
Yeah.
Like, these individuals, like, they blew my mind. I'm just like, how do you know that?
yeah,
You don't speak, but how do you know that?
yeah. They're so pure-hearted,
Yes.
They're so innocent.
Yes.
They haven't been able to experience all the negativity in
Mhm.
our society, in our world,
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Like, these are individuals who literally are just seeking help and will take help from anyone that's willing to help them and understand them.
Yeah,
So I think and I thank you for bringing up this subject and like this conversation, because it's something that needs to continue and something that we need to continue talking about, because it's the only way to normalize it. It's the only way to remove stigma, because knowledge is power.
yeah,
And the more we know about it, the better we are, one, for ourselves, and to correct someone if they don't know, right?
yeah,
Or be like, actually, no, that's not something negative. If you take the time to know, like, let me help you out and like tell you a little bit more about it.
yeah, yeah.
So
No, and I think, like you said, it's very important. That's one of the ways to promote mental illness would be talk about it.
Yeah.
There's many other ways of doing this, of course, but
picking
I
a
think,
book,
yeah.
I know, reading about it, doing your research, but
yeah,
you can know all of this, but if you're not sharing that knowledge with anyone, what
Yeah,
does that knowledge
exactly
to you?
right. Educate yourself so you can educate others.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah, I think I do. I mean, I often I get so distracted with sports and with my kids' sports, that just life life stuff, that we forget. This pandemic has given us a little bit of extra time to sit back and let's look. Let's look at what's going on and to see what we can identify and how we can correct it. So I kind of thank this pandemic, not so much the pandemic, but the time off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know that as a family, we have accepted that, the fact that we have to stay at home a little bit more, because we're vagos.
Yeah.
We're always out, dude. So now we're at home a little bit more, and we like it, because we get to spend more time with the family, and we're learning a little bit more about each other.
Do you feel like you've learned more about your sons?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Like-
mean, I still go out and work as normal schedule.
Yeah.
But as far as when I'm not podcasting, I'm with them, and I can see them. I see them grow, like this. My little one, see the 9-year-old Vincent. Obviously I'm there all the time, every single day, but I didn't get to see him grow as much as I am seeing the little one,
Because you're able
Diego,
to spend more
because I'm
time.
here way
Yeah.
more with them, you know. So it is cool. Yeah,
That's
it's
beautiful.
really cool.
That makes me very happy for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, but we have so much time together, all four of us,
yeah.
that I think wifey and I need to take a little trip
Time.
on our own.
We
So,
need some us time.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the kids are awesome, but like, can we just connect you and I?
yeah. Eventually, we'll see what we can do. Get a babysitter or something.
There you go.
But for the weekend, I don't know. We'll see. Wink, wink. But you know, anyways, I mean, I think these are topics that we need to talk about, and I didn't want to bring the interview to a halt or anything like
No.
that, but it was just one of those things that I felt it could be a comfortable conversation to have
Yeah,
with
of
you.
course.
You
Well,
know?
you saw in my profile that I did
Yeah.
my senior project in college on
Right.
the mental illness population and incarceration. My sister has a degree in psychology.
Mhm.
I was in minor psychology and undergrad, so it's a topic that I'm very much comfortable with. But I found myself talking about it a lot, and people are like, "Why are you talking about that?" So I'm just like, I'm not going to talk about it. But
Yeah.
the fact that you're so comfortable talking about it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's an open conversation, it's
Mhm.
very much a welcoming space here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to have a conversation any day.
There you go. See, Jocelyn and her sister are gonna save the world when they're not creating bars and
We're
candles.
not kidding, bro. We're here to
They're
help
gonna
you all.
save the world. No, but that's really cool. I thank you for doing all this work, and then that, the bar
Thank
soap.
you.
I wish you the best of luck with it. Anything I can do to help you out, I'm gonna do it. So one of the ways, if we want to end the show this way,
Yeah.
I want to do a giveaway.
Perfect.
So if you can get, maybe not this one here, but we'll
Sorry,
get
this is his.
that's mine. So you guys hands off. But if we can do like a giveaway,
Of
that'd be great.
course.
If we could do something like
We'll
that.
go ahead and build a little package
Yeah.
for all of the viewers, which I truly appreciate again for having me on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am more than willing to.
Right on.
Let me know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for
Thank
coming
you
on
again.
and
I
talking
truly
and chatting it up.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything you want to sign off on for the show? Maybe the Instagrams or the website.
The Instagram is meetmeatthebar.co. Twitter is also meetmeatthebar_. And I'm Jocelyn Aparacio. My Instagram is _dose_of_J. You'll very much know who I am now that there is a face to the company. I truly appreciate everyone for the purchases, the likes, the follows, the comments. Please continue to share. I am a one-woman show. Very proud of it, but I just appreciate the love.
There you
most
go.
importantly.
There you go. Well, thanks again.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Have a great
it.
one.
Alrighty. You guys take care out there. This is Fidel Avendaño Jr. signing off. Adios.
Yeah. Live. Come on. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. We talking again. We talking again.